25, 30 horses because that was how many horses he could fit in his day, right? But not only that, you say, oh, how many horses are you riding? Oh, I'm meeting 400 or 500 horses a year. So there's a difference there, right? The next thing, competitive trainer, well, he would have a horse like this one. Out of those 25 horses, he may have this mare for 10 years that he's been showing the same mare for 10 years, for 7 years, for 5 years. That's in place of a horse that he didn't meet. So he rode 25 horses that year, 30 horses that year, but he knew 15 of them to start. Or he knew, 20 of them to start, got 5 new horses. So you see how it'd take him a real long time to get that experience. So that's why we try to meet as many horses as possible, because you just really start figuring out what works and what doesn't. All right, I'm going to take those flag sticks. We're going to check our cinches. We're going to start getting ready for mounting. You need a clip, and do I have one? I do have one. It's on that pink halter. So much of the difference, you can go up if you like. So much of the difference between horsemanship from the last generation to this generation is this thing called natural horsemanship. Ladies and gents, I'm telling you, there's nothing natural about it. There's nothing natural about a predator, which is you, madam, riding a prey animal, which is Major Tom, with the hide of another dead prey animal in between you. It's the most awkward sandwich I've ever seen, okay? With that being said, it just keeps it from going up and down the face.
Does it matter which way this goes?
I like for it to point outwards like that.
Okay.
Make sure your cinch is tight. That's a good looking saddle you got there.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen, there's like a thing on the internet that's like honest trailers, movie trailers? Oh, okay. Well, then it's not gonna make any sense. Basically, it's a guy that comes back and takes the movie trailer and he just tells it plain and honest how the movie trailer is, how goofy it's something. No here nor there. Okay. If you had to say natural horsemanship without trying to flower it up, and you didn't go, hey, it's 6 feet, 2 hearts, 1 dream. If you weren't saying that, if you were saying honestly what natural horsemanship is and why it's so great, it's the illusion of choice. Okay? Natural horsemanship is simply natural husbandship. Okay? Husbands all around the world always have the last thing to say. Yes, dear. Okay, honey. Whenever they ask, there you go. So you're going to shut him down with that left rein. That's it. And send him back to you. Now draw him right through again. There we go. Nice. There you go. And shut him down. Ah, no worries. Yep. So you can drive him one step further.
Well, I can get on here.
All right, you just drive him one step further. There you go. So that's the difference in the mounting blocks and the benches and the tables and things like that. Is there's somewhere to stop the horse, right? Because the bench is flat. So this is always the last place that we're working on.
Okay.
Just
ground mount, but
oh, no worries.
it's easier on the
All right, so natural husbandship. My wife, wonderful woman, the light of my shadow, something. She says things like, honey, will you take out the trash? See how that sounded like a question? See how it sounded like I had an option? And because she said it so nicely, I take it out. But more importantly, I say it because I know if I don't take out the trash, I'm going to hear that same question repeated. Honey, will you take out the trash? Oh, you done told me twice. Honey, will you take out? Exactly. So even though it's a question, it's a statement. It's probably a little long. That's exactly what natural horsemanship is. So whenever we desensitize horses, there's even a word for it. My father would call it sacking out a horse. Have you ever heard that term? Okay, sacking out a horse is basically we tie a horse up or hobble a horse, inhibit a horse's motion, and basically we touch them with a feed sack to the point that they realize, they come to the conclusion that we're not trying to hurt them. Now we do the same thing free-handed. The difference is when they are inhibited in motion, they know that they don't have a choice. And because of that, they constantly think, man, if I was just free, I'd get away. If I could just move, I'd move. If I could just, I would. Whenever you are doing it free-handed, natural horsemanship, and you're desensitizing the same horse, they feel like they have the choice to run off. They feel like they have the choice to run backwards or do this or do that. But every time they make that choice, it doesn't work out for them. So sometimes I make the choice, I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear. I'm already comfortable. My boots are already off. I don't want to take out the trash. I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear. But then ultimately, I'm going to get asked again. It's the illusion of choice. Natural horsemanship is the exact same way. The reason it works so well, and we have the best colt starters in history right now today, out of all the time that we had amazing bronc riders who could start colts, is because we come to this conclusion, hey, we're going to do everything by hand. Hey, we're going to do everything where they have a choice. Hey, we're going to do everything where they seem like they could run away if they wanted to, but ultimately it's better to stay with us. All of these things is what's leading to the most evolved horsemanship that there's ever been, right? It's that illusion of choice and that repetitiveness that makes the horse come to that conclusion on their own. Ultimately, they think it's their idea. Are you with me? That's really what natural horsemanship is, and that's why it's so awesome and why it works so well, is because the horse thinks that she has a choice to do whatever she wants. Ultimately, when she makes a decision that's not the decision that you want, you redirect her, you take her butt from her, you control her head, and you ask again. And then she makes the wrong decision, you redirect her, you move her butt, and then you ask again. When she says the right thing, the thing that you want, you don't pressure her, you don't make her uncomfortable. She says, I think next time I'm going to do the thing that you ask. And it becomes her idea, ultimately. First things first, you're on your horse, you're sitting still. We are waiting. You wouldn't believe if I told you how much time that you ride up in this farm going all fast, you'll see me just sitting on a horse like a bump on a log, not doing anything. It's part of it. It's all part of it. Whenever you're young and you just want to go somewhere, you just want to go fast, you just want to gait, you just want excitement, all that stuff, that's great. But if that's all you do, that's all the horse expects to do, and that's all they're going to want to offer you. And then you're like, man, this horse is kind of a pain in the butt. Who made them a pain in the butt? You made them. All you did was go. Every time you're on them, you're gaiting, you're going here, you're going there. There's something to be said for just time that you just sit with the horse. Every time that I change disciplines, every time that I try something new, there's always some epiphany that comes from it. One of the epiphany I got, I was always taught, don't let the horse lick the ground. Don't let the horse eat grass. This is work. Okay. When I started getting ready for the Mongol Derby, I started hanging out with endurance riders. And quite frankly, we don't think of endurance riders as much trainers because they don't really train the horse to do anything except go. And they don't really care kind of how they act as long as they're going forward and covering miles. So we don't think about them a lot of reining, a lot of anything, right? One of the things I learned though is you have to let this horse, as we're going through the trail, eat grass, eat a leaf, eat some. All this water, let them have the water. All this grass, let them have it. Because if not, you don't pass the health check. You don't pass the vet check whenever they check you at the end of the race. Okay, well, while I'm training and prepping, I'm riding horses that I know are hot. And we would go a little ways, boom, boom, we're cantering, we're trotting, we're going. We get to the top of the hill, grassy loam. I give them the rein, they eat some grass. I think, this horse is about calm as can be. Hell yeah, at the top of the hill, just eating grass, just munching away. The horse is so calm and so quiet. It's kind of like my wife. Every time she starts getting a little mad with me, I give her a little chocolate and she calms down. It's the same thing. So then I started using that for my training. I have a little fussy filly, a little fussy mare. I get her doing kind of halfway, a half decent job, like anything that I consider a little win. I'm out there working a horse where you guys are sitting. I get her where they halfway do what I want. I stop and give them the rein. You wouldn't believe how many horses that come here are too uptight undersaddled that they can't even eat grass when it's right there in front of their face because they're too uptight. You'd be amazed what 5 minutes of just giving them the reins and letting them eat some grass with you on their back will do for their relaxation while they're under saddle. And I would have never found that unless I went and hung out with the endurance riders. And I don't even think they know that. They're just doing it because they want the horse to pass the vet check. But I saw from like a training standpoint, wait a second, if I can get a little win and give them their face, that's going to give me a more relaxed mind, calmer, easier. Do you know that we do breakfast in schools, in public schools, because they found out that somebody that's not thinking about food, their stomach's not growling, learns a lot better than somebody who's hungry. Well, it's the same way. So then they started doing school breakfast. Before that, you had to eat breakfast at home or bring breakfast with you. So they figured out, well, it's the same way for a horse. If I have a horse that's having a hard time, man, I can just give them that. Well, also that goes in line with every time their pole drops below their withers, it releases endorphins that kills adrenaline. All these are just little epiphanies. You start putting them together. There you go, gather her up. You can grab 2 reins right there. No worries. No worries.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Grab 2 reins there and release. There you go. And grab her again. All right, so we're not going to give her all that freedom. We can give her freedom, but we're not going to give her all that freedom. So shut her down, stop her. Use 2 hands. There you go. That's it. All right, now what I want you to do is I just simply want you to flex from to the seam of your jean. Find their face. Yep. There we go. So just take your left hand, bring it to your pocket. Now your right hand. There we go. Now your left hand. We're just going to go back and forth until her feet stop moving. All right, same thing to the right. There we go. To the left. There you go. Same thing to the right. All right. Mind if I borrow her for 1 second?
I wouldn't mind.
All right. Let me pull her off the fence. Okay. There you go. All right, so we got a hot little pony here. A little hot to trot. She thinks that she wants to kind of dance around whenever we start flexing her. And you guys are going to see me kind of go through the motions of kind of nipping that in the butt. Hey. First things first, she's thinking go, go, go. I'm going to shut that down and say, hey, give me your face. Hey, give me your face. Hey, give me your face. She's thinking forward. I'm thinking, no. Give me your face. Give me your face. Give me your face. I'm just going to take that forward away from her. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this a little bit on her nose. There we go. There we go. So this horse's go-to is just, oh, I'm just going to go forward. Well, if you're thinking forward, this is how smart you got to be a horse trainer. If that horse is thinking go, I'm thinking whoa. There we go. There we go. She wants to get her panties in a wad. She wants to get high up in the head. I'm going to keep my hands low, and I'm going to try to do my very best, not let my emotions or my excitement. She's excited. Okay, that's cute. I don't want to get excited with her. I want to keep my communication very clear. There we go. There we go. And just take all the static out of that communication. There we go. And look, for the horse that wants to be hot, wants to stay hot, look how the head wants to stay high. Just keep that in mind, because as the week goes on, we are going to be working on that, just every day. First, we got to get left and right. So she's a little stiff left and right. We got to fix that. But then immediately, once we get left and right good, to the point that she won't even think about taking her hands from us, and I'm not really asking her to back, but whenever she goes forward, I'm just holding on her, saying, no, we're not going forward. There we go, honey. Look how quick she is whenever we give her face back to pop her head high into center. So we're just going to take our sweet time. We're not in a rush. We're not excited. There you go. You want to lick your lips. There we go, honey. I'm only going to put a ceiling on her. There you go. See her licking her lips and processing. There we go. There we go. All right, guys. Once you have that, the next thing that I want is I want you to flex, find their face, and then I want you to look over your shoulder at his butt and bring his face to his butt. There you go. Bump, bump, bump in the face. Keep your foot down in front of you. You're going to do it all with his face. There you go. Kiss to him, kiss to him. There we go. So we had to have a little religious talk, a little come to Jesus about that. He didn't want to give his butt too well. Same thing to the left. There we go. Very nice. So same thing with her. See, I'm just taking all the static out of the conversation. Honey, where are you going? You think forward without me. I'm going to grab a hold of you. Now we're going to move that butt. The same way with the quarter horse, we were trying to speed her up. We're going to do this in a way that is going to slow her down. So I'm going to grab here. I'm going to move her butt. She might get excited. She might get excited, but I'm going to release her before she can really do anything with it. There we go. See how sticky we are right there? There we go. There we go. There we go. You are the constant variable with your horse. So, if you have a horse that's cold, a lot of times you're going to bring them energy to make them come up to you. If you have a horse that's trying to be hot, I want to be level-headed. Even when I reprimand her, I don't want my spine to become erect. I don't want to get tense and tight. I don't want my core to be tight. I want to stay loose and relaxed. So everything I do, essentially, it takes wind out of her sail. If I get up here and I start jerking and pulling, and I sit upright and I say, walk, walk. Well, you may be using the word walk, but that doesn't mean your body language is saying that. And ultimately, that's the language of the horse, is body language. So I don't like how stiff she is to this side. So I'm going to keep bumping her, keep sending her forward. Once you guys get their face in their butt, you can walk them off, let them walk off, and then out of nowhere, slide down the reins, find their face, move their butt. Slide down the reins. All right, Robert, you're asking about draw reins? There you go. You're asking about draw reins? Watch how I use the reins. Even when I don't have draw reins on, if you look closely, I'm going to give her her face, slide down the reins. Look how my right hand works as the draw. Slide down the reins. The more fluid you are, the better response you're going to get. The more fluid you are, the more fluid your horse is going to be. We all want a fluid ride. Nobody wants to ride with the 15-year-old driving. I mean, they get to, well, I guess they don't have grounding signs anymore because nobody drives a stick. But you know what I mean. We want it to be smooth. We want to just get there. We want it to be easy, fluid. Well, this horse has gotten kind of herky-jerky, kind of hot to trot. So the more fluidity that I bring to her, being that constant variable, I'm the constant. I want her to come to me. There we go. There we go. You see how we can just, no matter how hot or cold the horse is, no matter how stiff they are, we can just systematically break down their resistance. That's what we're looking for. All right, guys, let me know when you got that and you feel comfortable with that. And hold. All right, next thing is we're going to do a spiral. A spiral is we're simply going to walk off and start going in a circle. Okay, when that circle gets calm and quiet, there you go, nice and bent. Lock that inside hand to your knee. Take your heels off, say ho, and back them up with your right hand. Stop and back with your right hand coming towards your pocket. Nope, inside hand stays on your knee. So your inside hand is stationary, your outside hand asks them to back. There you go. See how he straightened out on you? Go back into the circle and get him bent. And that's when we're going to lock our hand into our knee. And what we're looking for is for that horse to back up crooked. There you go. Whenever you're ready, sit back, take your heels off. If you get to the position, all right, see how your Your left hand is coming across the neck. We don't want that. We want our left hand. There we go. And release that left hand. And then ask again. There we go. Beautiful. Do that again. Old boy had a lot of that right there because he is a sticky little joker. And unfortunately, we can't just put WD-40 on him. Whenever you're breaking a horse loose, so this horse is sticky, and I plan on getting rid of all the stickiness this week. We are going to achieve that like a rusty hinge. If you have a rusty hinge, you don't got no WD-40 because you're on a rants. The only thing there is to do is open and close it and open and closing it, open and closing it, open and close until it breaks free, breaks loose. It's not seized up any longer. So it's the same thing with her. When I walk her off, when she speeds up, just like I guided her into a disengagement, I'm going to guide her into a circle. When I feel like the circle is nice and bent and easy, I'm going to lock this hand in here. Then I'm going to sit back over my pockets even more. That outside hand is going to go extend as low as I can get it. I'm going to back her off to the other side. Okay. One of the biggest things, one of the hardest things to do is to not hold the leash all the time. Because our brain says, oh, we got to hold on to it. Well, then when you tell that person, hey, you got to give the horse reins, if they are brave, they just abandon the reins. I don't want either of those extremes. I want you to be on a loose rein, but also have it easy to communicate with your horse. So I grab this horse center rein. Center rein is the middle, like over the withers if the reins are even. I ask this horse to walk off. She walks off. As soon as she starts speeding up, I wait till she bends. Then I back her up crooked, release the outside rein. Back her up crooked, release the outside rein. Back her up crooked, release that 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 outside rein. Back her up crooked, release her outside rein. Oh no, her butt's close to a fence. All I've got to do is release the outside rein, look at her butt, ask her back up again. Ask her back up again. Pitch reins to her. Oh, you pitched reins, why is she rushing off? She can rush off if she wants to. If she does, one hand's going to, without any excitement, without going, Paga! Well, I'm just going to slide a hand down the rein, find her face, get that circle bent, and do the same thing. If I'm persistent enough to do this 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 times in a row, you're going to get to the place where you chunk her the reins, and when you ask her to go forward, you almost have to ask her 3 times. The same horse that was so hot that just wanted to rush off, that rush, that's a lack of clarity. Not understanding what we're asking and scared to get in trouble for the thing that we don't know what we're asking. You start putting those 2 things together and things can get out of hand pretty quick. And you say, well, the horse is trained. Well, the horse can be trained. You can have a real obedient kid. I mean, you had super nanny at your house. That kid is just so obedient. But now he goes to a boarding school and the nuns, they speak a different language. And then next thing you know, they're getting whacked with a ruler or a yardstick and doesn't know why. Well, that kid that's so obedient is going to start getting a little hazy every time he sees somebody in black. The nuns. Okay, that's kind of far-fetched. The same thing happens with the horse, you know. If they don't understand why they're getting in trouble, we think it's very clear, oh, you're going too fast. But if our messaging doesn't say that, and now we're scared that the horse is going fast, because we're scared we can get hurt, scared we can get in trouble, so we're getting herky-jerky, well now it's the nun with the ruler, with the yardstick. We're getting smacked on the hand, we don't know why. Then we start getting excited about it. So it's our job to say, okay, we already know this horse is soft enough in the face, but physically she can't take us. Okay, that's what needs to put our mind at ease. And then we just need to break through that resistance. So without touching the reins, without picking up the reins, I'm going to ask her to move off. When she speeds up, she's speeding up too much. I slide my hand down the rein this way, get her however bent I want, and hold, and back, and back, and back, and back, and back, and back, and back. And all you folks out there who have a hot to trot horse on the trail that you can't get walking flat enough for you, this type of monotone, repetitive approach, no horse can handle that. I mean, I want to make sure, number one, that I have this already set in stone before I go on the trail, first off. And then, yes, I will do it on the trail, but I'm not really trying to. This works great on a trail if you go by yourself. What happens if we go with friends is we have the herd mentality too, right? So you know what needs to happen to fix it, but you also, this is your Saturday afternoon with the girls, and you feel like, well, I got to get with the girls. Well, yeah. Well, ultimately, what happens is, how do we tell the horse, hey, don't rush up to the other horses, but we come here, we reprimand them twice, and then we rush up to our buddies who are on those horses that she's not supposed to rush up to. So when myself and my kids go out, my students go out, we have this already conclusion, hey, if one of us have an issue, hey, you're on your own. You know, if we have an issue, there's 5 of us out there, 6 of us out there, and your horse has an issue, well, you take that trail, I'll take this trail, you go this way, I'll go that way, and you figure it out. We're training first, we're enjoying our trail ride second. Understandable, this is your hobby and that's not your mentality, I get it. But if we're talking from a training standpoint of how we are going to fix it, we gotta have that approach. I gotta be able to take this mare on a trail and say, hey, I don't care how long it takes. If you are time oriented, or if you are, I have to be my buddy oriented, you're contradicting what you're telling her. Like right here, this ride that I'm having with her, I'm telling her, hey, I don't care if it takes 20 minutes or 2 hours, I'm just gonna keep walking around till you chill. And horses knowing that takes Sparrow's ride from this morning, you know, it's like an hour and a half, you know, hour and a half ride. That takes it tomorrow where 40 minutes. Takes the day after that, it's 20 minutes. The day after that, she comes out wanting to be soft, wanting to be easy, wanting to focus. Because she realizes the more she gets wonky, the more I work her, the more she waits for me and is patient, the more relaxed I am with her. Absolutely. Oh yeah, no, you could just pick a horse apart. And part of what was so hard about Sparrow is she's done such a good job that she knows this stuff. Believe it or not, that makes it harder because she knows the answer. You shock a horse with this program that's never seen it, they're like, oh my gosh, what kind of voodoo are you doing? Witchcraft are you doing to me? I'll do whatever you want. Sometimes your more seasoned horses, they have a little bit of what do they call it whenever a little bit of an immunity to it. But you see, it's still working. It's still working. We're picking her apart. All right. Now what I want you guys to do is we're going to work on button number 3. Button number 3 is this. Get that horse in a nice circle like this. Our inside rein and inside leg are off of her because we're circling to the inside. And then we're going to switch. We're going to take this to her shoulders and see if we can move those shoulders out. Nice. Then we'll take that rein off of her. We can move that butt if you like. Move that butt, make that circle, and then we're going to switch and put that rein on her. Take the rein off, get you a circle, and then we're going to move those shoulders just like we did from the ground. Nice.
Call it what it is, ballerina.
We're going to do the ballerina, girls. Take that inside leg and rein off. Make sure she knows where to follow. There we go. Good girl. Very nice. Now I'll tell you what. You get that horse where every time they move their feet forward, you're driving them or disengaging them or driving them or disengaging them. You're working on something that you want to work on anyway, but also at the same time, they're having to think and process and all that. You will mellow a horse out real quick like. There we go, girls. In the middle, I just drop the reins to her. Every time she tries to kind of get out of that circle, drop the reins to her. There we go. Every time she kind of melts, kind of feels like she's downshifting, I kind of leave her alone. Go all, exactly, you stole what I was about to do. I was about to do, no, that's it. I was just about to go to travel the whole arena all the way across. There we go. Switch directions. Travel all the way across the arena. A lot of times people teach a leg yield and they have that horse taking one step over. I want to teach it so clearly that within the first couple days of being able to do this, exactly, I can just go all the way over there, no problem. Very nice. Disengage and oh, I can go straight from that. I already have her bent, so I can back her up crooked. Very nice, honey. Very nice. Is this making sense how square dancing and, you know, really mastering first grade, square dancing and the ballerina just gives you so much freaking control of your horse? Like, there's not a track line in this arena that you can't make. If you want straight, if you want diagonal, if you want crooked, if you want from this post to that post, if you want to make a Z, whatever you want to make, you're going to be able to place that horse wherever you want. Yeah, I mean, you're just fine-tuned to the point that you have to do very little and you get a lot. The ultimate goal of horsemanship is the least amount of effort on your part, the most amount of response on their part. You know, like, you want to do very little and have them do anything you want. Well, it starts with them respecting you enough to try. Then once we have that try on our side, then we start showing them what we want, and we start real obvious. Like right now I'm being ridiculously obvious with her. I'm pointing this hand out here, I'm bringing this hand towards her butt, hand towards her shoulder, I'm going all the way across the arena. I hear she's pretty loose in between when she's doing the right thing, so she's gonna start really trying to do the right thing. Move her butt. Outside leg, outside rein off. There we go. So she's pretty freaking balanced to be able to go across the arena like that. Let's move her butt. Let's move her butt. Let's move her butt. There we go. Now disengage her a time or two, lock that into the side, and back her up crooked. And we're saying basically, hey, we don't care that you're moving fast. You're not going to make me move fast. I'll just redirect you in a way that I'm not worried about that speed. All right, ladies, so what I want you to do is go across, stay on the rail, go across to that corner. There you go. Turn to your right. All right, take mid-your turn around. You go in the opposite direction. There you go on the rail. That's it. I want you to go till you get to that corner. When you get to that corner, I want you to turn and point at this corner. There you go. So start turning to your right. Look at the far corner. Now I want you to pick up that left rein and left leg and leg yield him all the way over to the rail. There we go. Keep looking up. There you go. Inside leg on. Inside rein on. Notice wherever their eyes go, that's where they're going. Very nice. So you're going to come around till you get to the second corner, and you're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. So in the beginning, these horses already know how to go on the rail. You're going to point their face this way. You're not going to go straight and then leg yield them. You're going to point them first. Pointing those shoulders is really a cheat code. It really makes it easy for them. Because like this guy's a gaited horse, he already sees that rail, and he's like, oh, we're going to the rail. If you really want to make it difficult for them, once they say, okay, I can do that, try going straight on that rail and then leg yielding over. It takes a horse that's really giving to do that. There you go, right straight, look up, that's it. So now, if we do the same thing, but we come here, and we're on the rail and we're straight and we don't cheat, we don't point them towards that corner, it's a lot more difficult. So let's say I come up this rail a little bit, and then from here I start leg yielding. It takes a horse that really wants to give to be able to do that. There we go, really. That's it. Very nice, very nice. All right, give me one more in that second corner, but this time be going straight down the rail up a little ways, and then take that inside leg and rein off. There you go. So go to the second corner. There we go. And oh. There you go. Go straight, straight, straight. Don't cheat, and leg yield from there. Take your left leg and left rein off. See how you pointed his shoulders across? There we go. Exactly. Just like that. And however far up the rail you want to go, look where you want to go, and you can pinpoint where you put that horse. Obviously, if you look further ahead, you'll leg yield a little bit less over. Look up, Miss Diane. Look where you're going. So pick a pole that you want to go to and drive your horse straight to that pole. If you want a lot of bend, you can, I mean, that's almost side passing, almost coming straight across. If you want to go clear to the far corner, it all depends. Once the horse is soft, it's just a matter of where you guide them at that point. So when I come across here and I do this, I want to go to that far corner. Look how my eyes are at that far corner, and I only leg yield her enough so that I can go directly across to this far corner. And the opposite of that is if I want a real hard leg yield, if I want a real hard leg yield, I mean, I just shut down more of the forward and keep those legs going, and now I come straight across. Everybody with me? All this stuff it only looks simple and easy because at the moment we have a couple horses that aren't willing to really pull on us. This horse wants to go, but she's sensitive enough that when she pulls on my hand and it doesn't give, she's yielding to it. And because of that, we're finding success placing our horse wherever. Whether it's a leg yield, a side pass, or whatever it may be, or whatever, it all comes down to their face. It comes down to control the head, control the horse. If they are not, nobody has spurs on, nobody's getting spurred in this arena, and they're just going wherever we want, it all comes down to that face. This little filly over the next couple of days, when she stops trying to root on that bridle, I mean, you're just going to be able to place her wherever you want, and she's going to stand and wait. She's not going to assume anything. Right now, her little stickiness has gotten her where the adrenaline pump is kind of staying on without us. So we'll get her off that bridle and not leaving her head in the air. And she's sensitive enough that you'll be able to get her going wherever. These two guys the same way. You're going to be able to drive them so well. Major Tom's kind of Achilles heel is that he's a wee bit spooky. Wee bit. But it was really magnified because he didn't have a very good steering wheel. Like, he knew about bridles, he knew how to give, but you couldn't say, hey, give me your face, go here, go there. And because you put spooky and no steering wheel, you're driving down the road and the car's like, a ditch, I'm out, and just leaves the road. That's problematic, right? So what you'll find is the softer we get them, you know what, I'm just a trail rider, I don't want a leg yield, I don't want to spin, I don't want a side pass. All these things, the more control you have, the less control they have. So the softer and easier we can move them around in all these different weird exercises that I give you, it's just more control, simply. Like, a lot of times I teach a horse to spin that has no intention of spinning. Like, I just had a warm blood leave that I colt started. That horse had a turnaround. I didn't teach her how to turn around because I planned for her yoga pants wearing mother to spin her. I taught her how to spin so that she could take that pressure, so that we could just hold her up and put a leg on her. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline for that horse to simply be able to hold that pressure and be able to step around here. She has to be willing to take that leg on her and not go forward. So if this horse has so much energy that she has to go forward because I put my right leg on her, well, then we can't turn her around. So, like, her little issue with it is that leg touches her, that spur touches her, she thinks I need to go forward. When she gets where she doesn't touch this bridle again, she's just going to spin around and she's not going to go forward. Well, it's the same thing. So it makes the horse a lot more forgiving if you can put a little spur on them, if you can put a little crop on them and ask them to turn around because they're not going through your bridle. So even if you never plan on spinning the horse again, even if you never plan on neck reining that horse, just that control that you gain by doing it will get you a more relaxed, more forgiving horse. Now you can touch that horse with your leg or with your spur and the horse doesn't jump out of his skin and says, okay, what are you asking? You with me, ladies? Gentlemen? Got it? Any questions?
Yeah. So when you're asking them to
Yes, under your hip.
Okay.
So where your leg is hanging. So she had a great question. Where do I put my leg? A lot of folks are led to believe that there is a button that was born on the horse. Like you touch rib number 3 and that gives you the shoulders. And if you touch rib number 5, which is an inch away, that's going to get the hindquarters. I'm not going to say that they're wrong, but in my experience, the horse gives me what I want from how I'm sitting. Actually, when I'm pushing those shoulders and I want that horse to spin, I actually want to put this leg far back so that the butt doesn't blow out this way. So I'm pushing way back here for a spin. My spur is way underneath my leg, which doesn't make sense if you go by this traditional thinking. So whenever I spin, I'm sitting flat on their butt at a standstill. Okay, one leg pops off of them, one rein pops off of them, and I sit on one cheek. The only thing that can mean is spin. When I'm asking for that horse to side pass, I'm sitting up straight as if I want to go in a straight line. The bridle doesn't allow them to go forward, and the button gets pushed on the right side underneath my hip. There's nothing else that can mean. Same thing, I want to leg yield. That nose gets tipped to the inside. The left rein and left leg come off of them, but we are allowing them to go forward. So that button for that side pass and that button for that leg yield and that button for that spin oftentimes is in the same place where your leg naturally lies underneath your hip. And we don't think too much about, oh, I need to move my leg forward and move my leg back. I just need to set it up properly. I need to, if I want a leg yield, I need the horse to be going forward, because if not, it's not a leg yield. The difference between side passing and leg yielding is leg yielding, your horse is moving forward. The difference between side passing and spinning is I'm sitting off center and I'm tipping that horse's nose to the direction, I'm sitting back into where I want to go, and because of that, that horse knows, hey, I want to spin, I don't want to side pass. If I wanted to side pass this horse, I sit straight and put this leg on, and she's like, oh, well, you're not letting me spin, you're not letting me spin. It's the same button. So don't get so caught up with where your leg needs to be. Think, okay, what am I asking of the horse? How do I set this up? You with me? Great job, ladies. Great examples. Yes. If you weren't trying to leg yield that hard, you still had some forward. Which makes it a leg yield. You just didn't have very much forward. So if you wanted to extend that, if you want to go straight to the hinge of that gate, since that hinge is in front of you, it would still technically be a leg yield. You're just cutting real sharp. If you want to go to that pole at the end of the arena, that's a leg yield as well, but you would allow more forward than sideways. So much of it's just how you got it, and what you realize is, hey, I can put this horse. That's why it's so important. You look where you want to go and then drive there accordingly. So there you go. So keep driving forward. If you feel like, oh, I'm going to get to the fence before the corner, well, stop pushing over with your leg. A little less leg, a little more forward. A little less leg, a little more forward. Look where you're going. Keep your eyes up. Point your belly button at your target. Absolutely. It's like everything. You have to figure out, just how much you touch the steering wheel, just how much you press the gas, and that's how you're going to get it out of your horse. And it's that rep after rep after rep that you and your horse understand, oh, she's trying to go here. So much of it, the rules of thumb for so much of this stuff, where is your belly button pointing? Where are your eyes? I say eyes. I say eyes because that's the easiest, but it's where do your hips open to? Where's that belly button trying to go? So I see people all the time, they get run away with and they're trying to pull the horse to the side, but they're looking right at it. So you're pulling that horse to the side, but your body is saying go straight. Whenever I'm asking this horse to turn around, I'm opening that leg and my belly button's pointing off to her left ear, like I'm turning my hips and trying to get there. Versus when I'm just trying to go sideways, my belly button is pointing at her head, and I'm saying, hey, scoot over here to the fence. Touch the fence, same thing. We go the opposite direction. What are you saying, honey? That opposite direction, like I was saying, my belly button is still pointing right at her neck. Now, what is the difference between that leg yield and that side pass? the leg yield, you got the forward and you're not capping them. So I can put that energy, and there's somewhere for that energy to go. So in that side pass, you start putting that energy in. They don't really that bridle and are willing to stay off of it. So this horse has developed some forward. That is so much the difference of one hand versus two hands. This horse has been leg yielding all over the place and turning around with one hand on her. The second we shut down two hands with her with nowhere to go, and we put a leg and give some energy, that hop, that's just a lack of ability of putting that energy somewhere. So us getting her going sideways, same horse, same spur, same leg, now no issue. But when I put two hands on her and said, hey, you can't go forward, I need you to come off this leg, it was like, whoop-ah. So whenever we break it down that logically in our mind, then we can take a layered approach to fix it. Are you with me, guys? So I was working with Miss Melva, and we were working on some collection, and she wanted to run backwards. Horses, I mean, has more miles. I mean, she's like in the million-mile club. She's been everywhere, done everywhere, and she's starting to go backwards. Was simply she didn't understand how to get that pressure off of her. So whenever we started squeezing her forward, but not just chunking the rein to her, she started running backwards. So we went back to the basics of drive forward, one hand, drive forward, one hand. And then once she's like, oh, okay, I can go forward, then little by little, we start applying that second hand until we get exactly what we want. Then we start getting that side pass. Oh, we have to layer it up. Does that make sense, guys? That was kind of mixed, yes. It was like, yeah. Everything that's an explosion, we use the word explosion all the time. You can't have explosion without capping it. If there's somewhere for the horse to go, if there's somewhere for the energy to go, it's not an explosion. Pressure bust pipes, air bust balloons. No matter how tight that balloon is, no matter how close it is to popping, if you can use your little tiger teeth and get the knot out, it's not going to explode. It's going to redirect. It's going to go somewhere versus popping. That right there, we had a pop because I shut down the forward and said, hey, let's scoot over. Trying to give an example of what side passing and where your legs are. Are you with me? So if I say, oh, you have an issue with that, okay, no problem. Hey, you got an issue, you're not ready to be sent over here, you're not ready to have a leg on you and be shut down at a standstill, I will simply use one rein, get you going somewhere, and then show you what that leg means. And because her feet are moving, so there's somewhere for her feet to go, there's somewhere for that energy to go, we go from not the answer that is desired, not the answer that we want, to, oh, that's the right answer. And then little by little, we start bringing in that second hand and start shutting down that forward earlier. There we go. And we get a calmer horse. I said, well, Michael, you're side passing, but you're really shoulder heavy. That's okay. It's better for her to be shoulder heavy and us fix that versus than her saying, oh, no, I don't know where to go, and popping. You got me? None of this stuff is bad behavior. And when you get over that, that's when things change for you. It's not bad behavior, it's horse behavior. And it's our job to outthink them and get them doing the thing that we want. How can we approach it logically, since the only thing that we have above them is that we're smarter than them? How can we approach it logically and get exactly what we want out of them? So for this filly, I see just right away, oh, we got to get her off the bridle softer where she doesn't want to be touched, and we have to get her to drop her head so the RPMs don't stay up when we're not pressing on the gas. If I'm not pressing on the gas, I don't want the motor going, you ever have a vehicle that idles high? That you're just standing there and or what is wrong with this thing? That's what horses are that get stuck with their head high. So if we can fix that, then we're gonna get that horse that's gonna be a lot calmer, quieter. Sit back, put your butt in the saddle. He's looking down, but you don't have to look down. Well, he can smell it. That doesn't mean you have to look down. There you go. Look up. There we go. Nice, nice. Good job, little lady. All right, guys. So the next thing we're gonna do is go get a little bite to eat, my favorite class of the day, and then we're gonna come back with groups 3 through 4.
Thank you.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Now I just got to be able to translate that to Lori.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. But we'll start by taking a notch out.